Good evening and welcome. You're with News First, your number one news provider. I'm Shamir Rasooli.
And I'm Ashani De Silva.
Floating armories, stationary armories, racing cars and other such discoveries have been capturing the headlines over the past few days.
But where does the truth lie?
Today, News First endeavour to seek out the truth of these matters for you.
We have comprehensive reports coming up, but first let's take a look at the headlines.
Police inspect the armoury of another private security firm at the BMICH in Colombo. Revelation that the floating armoury on board a ship in Galle was maintained under the supervision of the Navy. Maiden Parliament sitting under the new government. Seating arrangement changed. Western Provincial Councillor Mujibur Rahman drops the names of ministry secretaries and businessmen in connection with acts of fraud and corruption.
Now on to your stories in detail. The police inspected an armoury being maintained by a private security firm at the BMICH premises today. The police conducted this inspection after obtaining a search warrant from the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court.
Police headquarters said that the inspection was carried out under the supervision of officials including the Assistant Secretary of the Ministry of Defence Samandisa Naika and the SP of Colombo South Roshan Dias. The police said that the Ministry of Defence had granted approval for the storage of 3,473 firearms including 2,300 T-56 assault rifles in this armoury. However, when the inspection was undertaken, only 151 firearms were found. The private security firm in question says that the other 3,322 firearms had been issued to personnel on various assignments. The police say that they are conducting further investigations into the manner in which the firearms were issued. Meanwhile, the police say that they found over 3,000 firearms of various makes and models in the floating armoury on board the ship Mahanura anchored at the Galle harbour. A permit was issued in 2012 for the private security firm Avantgarde Security Services to maintain this floating armoury. News First visited the head office of the security firm in Pitakota today to make further inquiries. As promised by the officials at the security firm, a senior officer at the company agreed to speak to News First this evening. According to the information submitted by this official, 3 former Navy commandos function as consultants to this security firm.
මෙම ආයතන දෙකෙහිම උපදේශකවරු ලෙස වැඩ කරන්නේ ආරක්ෂක සේවාවල සිට විශ්‍රාම ගිය ඉහළ නිලධාරීන්. හිටපු නාවික හමුදාපතිවරු වන සෝමතිලක දිසානායක ඇඩ්මිරාල් වරයා ඇඩ්මිරාල් සඳගිරි මැතිතුමා සහ ඇඩ්මිරාල් ජයනාත් කොළඹගේ යන මහත්වරුන් උපදේශක මණ්ඩලයේ ඉන්නවා. සම්බන්ධයෙන් මොකද උතුරාර්ථයේ ප්‍රකාශය මොකද මේ යාත්‍රාවෙන් සිදු වෙන්නේ මොකද්ද මේ කාර්යභාරය? මෙම මහනුවර කියන යාත්‍රාව ගාල්ලට නුදුරු මුහුදේ නවත්තලා තියෙන්නේ.
The ship known as Mahanura was anchored off the coast of Galle to store the firearms, ammunition and equipment of more than 200 international firms which provide maritime security, and to issue these firearms and equipment to ships as per the requirement of these firms.
අවියායුධ පතරොම් සහ මෙවලම් උපකරණ ගබඩා කර තැබීමට සහ එම ආයතනවල අවශ්‍යතාවය මත ඒවා අනිත් නැව්වලට නැංගවීමටත් වැසවීමටත් යාපදිච්චක් හෝ අවශ්‍යක අමාත්‍යාංශයෙන් අනුමැතියක් මේක ලැබෙලා දෙනවා කොහොමද ඒක වෙන්නේ? මෙවැනි ව්‍යාපෘතයක් අවන්ගාඩ් මැරිටයිම් ආයතනයේ විසින් කළේ සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යාංශයේ අනුදැනීම ඇතිව. දැන් 2011 වෙනකම් මේ කාර්ය කරන්නේ කවුද? මෙම කටයුත්ත කිරීමට සම්බන්ධ වෙලා තිබුණේ නාවික හමුදාව.
ඒක මෙච්චර කාලයක් කරේ නාවික හමුදාව නම් ඇයි ඒක පුද්ගලික අංශයක් උපර බාර ගන්නේ?
ඒ පුද්ගලික අංශයේ බාර ගැනීමක් නෙවෙයි එතන වෙලා තියෙන්නේ අත් වශයෙන්ම විධිමත් ලෙස නාවික හමුදාවත් එක්ක සිදු කරන කටයුත්තක් බවට පත් කරා හේතු කාරණා ගොඩක් නිසා.
මේ නියාමනයේ මට පැහැදිලි කරගන්න ඕනේ මේ රජයෙන් හෝ මොකක් හරි ආයතනයක් මගින් මේ නියාමනය කොහොමද වෙන්නේ කියන කාරණේ.
ආණ්ඩුවේ නියෝජිතවරු එම ස්ථානවල අධීක්ෂණ නිලධාරීන් විදිහට ඒ හැමතැනකම පත් කරලා තියෙනවා.
Government representatives have been appointed as supervising officers at these locations. In terms of Mahanura, there are always 14 Navy personnel in uniform on duty on board the ship. In addition, it is officials recommended by the Ministry of Defence that are appointed to oversee the issuing of firearms, keep records and act as supervisors. There are officials from the Avantgarde Maritime Company at these floating armories too. But the responsibility lies with the government-appointed officials.
ඒ අවිගබඩා තියෙන තැන් පාවෙන අවිගබඩා තියෙන හැමතැනකම ඒ අවිභාරව සහ ඒ වාගේ සංඛ්‍යා ලේඛන කටයුතු කිරීම පිණිස සහ අධීක්ෂණය කිරීම පිණිස එම මෙහෙයුම් කොම සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ කියලා ඒ තැන්වල ස්ථානගත කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ තැන්වල එවන්ගඩ් මැරිටයිම් ආයතනයේ නිලධාරීනුත් ඉන්නවා. නමුත් වගකීම තියෙන්නේ අර ආණ්ඩුවෙන් පත් කරලා තියෙන නියෝජිතයන්
Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Navy confirmed today that the floating armoury was being maintained under the supervision of the Navy. When Newsfirst made inquiries, Defence Secretary BMUD Basnaika noted that he is studying the issue at present and that he would be able to make a statement thereafter.
මේකට කැබිනට් පත්‍රිකාවක් තියෙනවා.
There exists a cabinet paper regarding this. This has been done as per the legitimate procedure with the knowledge of the Ministry of Defence. This was done for international needs. On one hand, the purpose is to provide security to ships under the threat from Somali pirates. It is very important security-wise. On the other hand, it is very important in terms of income for the country. So what has the present government done? Just like the betrayal at Millennium City, they took the media to this place and attempted to portray it as a problem of Rajapaksa government. This revelation is very dangerous. Underworld gangs operate in international networks. So this revelation puts the lives of those in charge at risk. This cannot be denied.
We were the ones who found about this and revealed this. They have been trying to hide this. Even the President of Maldives asked as to what agreement was made between the Defence Minister here and the Defence Minister there. Because they took the armoury from here and placed it there. There are around 3,500 weapons. By any chance, if you had firearms in your possession, you will be going to jail. Isn't that so? So why would they be given the opportunity to roam free with 3,500 weapons in their possession? Who introduced such freedom?
Ravi Karunayaka is the Minister of Finance and he states that investigations are continuing into the incident where public funds have been deposited into an account of the former Defence Secretary. He added that details regarding the investigation will be revealed in the future.
Minister of Finance Ravi Karunayaka revealed recently that steps have been taken to transfer to the Treasury a sum of nearly 8 billion rupees found in an account maintained by former Secretary of Defence Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the Taprobane branch of the Bank of Ceylon. At a media briefing held today, journalists again posed questions regarding the matter to Minister Karunayaka.
Money that belongs to the Ministry of Finance cannot be kept elsewhere. How did they spend it? There is no money in the Finance Ministry, but there is 20 billion being kept elsewhere. The money that came from Katik and Shangri-La has been diverted there directly. That is what we revealed. We pointed out the wrongdoing. Not only that, do they have an estimate or did they call for tenders to spend 20 billion? There is no need for sympathy stories. All we have done is reveal what they did.
Issuing a communique yesterday, former Secretary of Defence Gotabaya Rajapaksa stated that the funds were from the sale of a plot of land on which the army headquarters was located in Galle Face. He added that the funds were used for the new headquarters that is being built in Battaramulla. The former Defence Secretary stated further that cabinet approval was obtained to open this account.
Taprobane ginuma. Then රවි කරුණානායක මුදල් අමාත්‍යවරයා
Now, Finance Minister Ravi Karunanayake is clearly stating that the Taprobane branch account belongs to former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa. This is a joke. A presidential fund should be an account under Lalit Weeratunga, who is the former presidential secretary.
ජනාධිපති ලේකම් හිටපු ලලිත් වීරතුංගගේ ගිණුමක් බවට පත් වෙන්න ඕනේ.
රාජ්‍ය මුදල් පිළිබඳව සඳහන් වෙන්නේ ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවේ.
Articles 148, 149 and 150 of the Constitution pertain to state funds. If we go further, the main facts mentioned in Articles 151 and 152 is that the overall control of state funds is the responsibility of Parliament. Under these articles, it states that all income should flow into a joint fund. However, Parliament could, through legal means, allow for separate funds to be operated. If the Parliament has granted permission for a separate fund to be maintained, then it is valid. But if permission has not been granted, then money cannot flow to a separate account. All funds should flow to a joint account. The Constitution does not speak of cabinet approval. Granting approval is up to the Parliament. I am not aware whether parliamentary approval was granted.
පාර්ලිමේන්තු අනුමතියක් තියෙනවා නම් හරි. මම දන්නේ පාර්ලිමේන්තු අනුමතියක් තියෙනවද නැද්ද කියලා.
යම්කිසි රජයේ දේපලක් විකුණන නම් ඒ මුදල් යන්න ඕන.
If a state property is sold, the funds should flow to a main account of the country, which is the joint fund. A ministry, a minister or a secretary cannot operate the account. According to my legal knowledge, if the money does not flow to the joint fund and if the money is used in any way, it can be considered a misuse of state property and an act of corruption. If a sum of money is used from the account, it should be with the approval of Parliament. In this case, the government had obtained money through the sale of land. If this money has been deposited into a secretary's account, it poses a huge question, no matter which angle it is viewed from. It is an act that has hurled a blow to the country's financial procedure and is in violation of parliamentary tradition. It is an act of corruption. I am of the view that immediate investigations should be launched into the matter.
මේක දූෂණයක් ඒ පිළිබඳව වහාම පරීක්ෂණ පැවැත්විය යුතුයි කියන එක තමයි මගේ මතය.
Police say that the car found in Piliyandala recently had been assembled in Sri Lanka. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohan has said that investigations are still ongoing.
The police said that the car had been assembled at an assembly plant in Minuwangoda. Accordingly, Newsfirst inspected the assembly plant situated at an industrial zone in the area.
ඒක මම තමයි පොලිසියට ගිහින් බාර දීලා ආවේ. මම පොලිසියට කටවුත් එකක් දීලා තිබුණා. මාතරට. ඒ ඔයසි මාතරක් කිව්වා ඒක. එයාට එන්න විදිහක් නැහැ. මේ යාරට ගිහිල්ලා ආවට පස්සේ මේ මාර දිනන එක විශ්නාන් දෙන්නම් එයා. මේ රාය ආරන්තුම ගමන් තමයි යාර 9:10ට තමයි තිබ්බේ මේ යන්න. එනේ හිමු කරු. මම ඔයාලට අතින් නම්බර එක දීලා යන්න.
Efforts to communicate with the owner of this establishment proved futile. The racing car was found in a house situated on Ratnamavata along the Arawala Bokundara main road in Piliyandala. When the racing car was first inspected, there was no number plate on it. However, when police drove the vehicle away, a number plate was seen on the rear. The resident of the house refused to comment on the matter. Police stated that the vehicle holds no registration with the Motor Traffic Department. Newsfirst visited Bokundara in Piliyandala, where the said vehicle was found. All of a sudden at dawn we hear the sound of the car. Since the car goes at high speed, the noise inside the houses are high and we find it hard to sleep.
We hear the sound of the car after 1 a.m.
After the vehicle was seized, we didn't hear the sound anymore.
Speaking at the sitting of the Western Provincial Council today, UNP Councillor Mujibur Rahman revealed the names of several officials and businessmen who he claims are involved in acts of fraud and corruption.
This was an election that the opposition won amid much difficulty in spite of their thuggery and the misuse of state power. At this election, we came to power making several promises to the people, including that we would establish good governance in the country and that we would restore law and order. There is a class of officials who, aided and abetted by political leaders, committed massive theft. There is a class of businessmen who misappropriated and stole the money of the people. I must especially mention the casino owner Dhammika Pereira, who functioned as a ministry secretary too. He has stolen a mountain of money from the people of this country with the aid of the leaders of the former government. Along with Dhammika Pereira, there is also Nimal Pereira. He too has stolen a mountain of money from this country. Then there is P.B. Jayasundara, who was the secretary to the Ministry of Finance. I believe he is not in the country at present. He has fled the country. In the recent past, he stole a mountain of money with the aid of the former president. Then there is Premasiri, who was the chairman of the RDA. He was the highways secretary and the chairman of the water supply board as well. He too has defrauded the people of a large sum of money. Gamini Senarath was a presidential coordinating secretary. There are several cunning businessmen who, with the help of the family of President Mahinda Rajapaksa, earned vast amounts of money. There are racketeers like Tirukuma Nadeshan. He was in the government and made money with the assistance of political leaders. Then there is Noel Vedanayagam, the chairman of. He too stole a lot of money from the people with the help of the Rajapaksa family. We must end the actions of these cunning businessmen and officials. These secretaries, public officials and cunning businessmen who made money by misappropriating and stealing the people's funds and national resources under the Rajapaksa regime to the Bribery and Corruption Commission, they must be brought before the law and punished. This is what we expect from the new government. We call on the President and the Prime Minister to immediately bring these people to book.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa visited Kandy today. Addressing the media in Kandy today, the former president reiterated that he continues to stand by the hopes of the people.
Upon arriving in Kandy, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa first visited the sacred temple of the Truth Relic and paid homage. He then met with the chief prelate of the Malwata chapter of the Siam sect, the most venerable Tirbatuave Sri Sumangra Thera. Following his meeting with the chief prelate of the Askari chapter of the Siam sect, the most venerable Udugama Sri Buddharakita Thera, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa addressed the media.
I must first extend my gratitude to all the voters. For all those who assisted me, I extend my thanks. I will always stand by their hopes. I have a habit of visiting the Dalada Maligawa when I visit Kandy. I had this habit even before I became president. I did it when I was the Prime Minister too. I did it when I was president, and I continue to do it even though I am no longer the president. As I did in the past, I visited the chief prelates as well out of devotion. This is not something new. There are certain acts of political vengeance taking place everywhere. I believe the media reported on what happened in Agalawata, Kalutura. I believe the first thing to do is to stop such incidents. This vengeance needs to be stopped. The innocent people exercise their franchise with some measure of faith. There was 5.7 million people who voted for us. We did not expect that they would face such harassment. Our family has been involved in politics since 1931, but the first time they searched our house. It would have been okay if there was some goods stored there, but there was nothing of the sort. I believe that there needs to be political morality.
The former president also met with the chief prelate of the Ramanya chapter, the most venerable Napanya Pemasiri Thera.
President Maithripala Sirisena has requested the IGP for investigations to be launched into the incident in Badrulia, where a Pradeshiya Sabha member was forced to kneel. The Presidential Media Unit reports that the President has requested the IGP to submit a report to him at the conclusion of the investigations. Earlier, former Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe filed a complaint against UNP MP Palit Tevara Peruma at the police headquarters.
Parliament convened for the first time today since the election of a new president and the appointment of a new cabinet.
Today, seating commenced under the auspices of Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa. President Maithripala Sirisena arrived a short while later. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and the group of MPs who previously took seats on the left wing of the Parliament were today seen seated on the right wing. Accordingly, President Maithripala Sirisena, the Prime Minister, Leader of the House and the Chief Government Whip took seats on the right side of the Speaker. Seating was arranged in order of seniority and leadership. The newly appointed opposition leader, Nimal Siripala de Silva, sat on the seat formerly held by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. The front row seats on the left wing of the Parliament were taken by Chief Opposition Whip WDJ Seniviratne and other party leaders.
This is not the journey of one individual. This is a collective journey that is being undertaken for the betterment of the country. The country is in a bad state today. We are now in the midst of a political and economic crisis. Based on the 100-day plan of the present government, many bills need to be enacted into law. In place of the executive presidential system, we intend to establish an executive that would be accountable to the Parliament through the Cabinet. We also would table the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, which would repeal the 18th Amendment to the Constitution, enabling the establishment of independent commissions. I was surprised to hear the statement made by my friend Vimal Weerawansa. I wish to remind him that he destroyed President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Please do not destroy what is left. Let's cast aside communalism and try and solve the issues at hand. We also intend to establish parliamentary monitoring committees. There are two proposals before the Parliament in this regard. We need to have a dialogue and come into a consensus over this. We have to establish independent non-cabinet ministers to head these committees. On the 29th of this month, an interim budget will be proposed. Our intention is to provide many concessions to the public. If the party leaders agree, we could hold a debate over this subsequently. We will also take action to eradicate corruption, and this House would be kept abreast of these developments in the coming 2 weeks. Despite our issues, we have to all unite and through dialogue solve our problems and disperse in peace. We have to govern the country through consensus and establish a good parliamentary tradition. We are satisfied with the manifesto put forward by President Maithripala Sirisena. If the opposition is consulted regarding the 100-day program constantly and we are kept informed on the developments, we as the opposition will fully support it and there will not be any problems in the future. If there is injustice, we will voice our opposition as public representatives. Mr. Speaker, there is violence against our supporters prevalent today. I wish to close my remarks by urging everyone to engage in politics based on policies and not to carry out a mudslinging campaign.
අපි අවතීර්ණ වෙමු කියලා යෝජනා කරමින් මගේ කතාව අවසන් කරනවා. මේ විධායක බලය අහෝසි කිරීමට මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව අපිට හැකියාවක් ලැබෙනවා නම්
If we are able to abolish the executive presidency through this parliament, then it would be a unique achievement for this parliament in terms of constitutional amendment since 1978. Our faction will render our fullest support to any decisions made towards this end. People responsible for fraud, corruption and wastage must be brought before the law. This does not represent hatred, cruelty or revenge. It is justice and fairness. The people of this country are expecting it. There is now information that a conspiratorial attempt was made to hold on to power. Was there such an attempt? The Chief Justice was there too. The Chief Justice goes there to hear cases at night. Shouldn't the people be made aware of this? There were people there who should not have been there. How did this happen? If a treasonous conspiracy was being attempted, then the people must be made aware of it. An opposition that stifles parliament is pointless. Whom will your party support when making decisions? Once you pledge support, who will be left? Who will represent the opposition? The Janata Vimukti Peramuna will take a stand. We are not in the cabinet, we are not in the government, we represent the opposition in parliament.
අපි කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලේ නැහැ, අපි ආණ්ඩුවේ නැහැ, අපි පාර්ලිමේන්තු විපක්ෂී.
මහජන එක්සත් පෙරමුණ මේ දින 100 වැඩසටහනට අපේ සහයෝගය අපි දෙනවා. හොඳ දේ.
The Mahajana Eksat Peramuna will extend its support to the 100-day program to achieve a positive end. Mistakes may have been committed by President Mahinda Rajapaksa and his government. I will not say even for a moment that not a single mistake was made. There may have been mistakes. You are well aware that mistakes were made by your governments too. But we are proud that we were able to entrust an economy that is growing at 7% to you. You still do not have the majority in your government. That is why I said that this political marriage is an amazing marriage. You did not speak of changing the electoral system.
සයිමන් කිව්වේ පුදුම කසාදයක් මේ දේශපාලන කසාදය. ඔබ සඳහන් කරේ නෑ ඡන්ද ක්‍රමය වෙනස් කිරීම ගැන.
මේ අලුත් ඡන්ද ක්‍රමය ගැන
We were hoping to appoint a committee on changing the electoral system after the party leaders meeting. We have not forgotten it.
අමතක කළා නෑ. අපි මෙතන තියෙන්නේ.
වත්නා ආණ්ඩුව කටයුතු නොකරොතින් අනිවාර්යෙන්ම ඒක ඉටු කරලීම සඳහා මහජන ව්‍යාපාරයක් එක මම ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා.
Now, for more of the views expressed by the JHU chairman and chairman of the Pivituru Hetak organization, Venerable Athuruliye Ratanathera, tune in to Newsline tonight on the main news bulletin at 10 p.m. on our sister channel, Sirasa TV. Now, Minister of Housing and Samurdhi, Sajid Premadasa, met former Minister Imtiaz Bakir Markar today.
The meeting took place at the residence of former Minister Imtiaz Bakir Markar. Minister Sajid Premadasa explained his ministry's program to the former minister and received advice regarding the matter from him.
ඉදිරි දින කිහිපය තුළ අමාත්‍යාංශයේ වැඩ කටයුතු නිල වශයෙන් බාර අරගෙන
In the coming days, after I assume official duties at the ministry under the current cabinet of the current government, we will create a historic public service. We would like to say that through an ideal housing and Samurdhi ministry, our aim is to create a true Samurdhi service, a true era of prosperity, not only for Sri Lanka, but for the world as well.
රටට පමණක් නෙවෙයි ජාත්‍යන්තරයට ලබා දෙන්නට අපි අදිෂ්ඨාන කරගෙන සිටිනවා කියන එක සතුටින් මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
සමාජයේ පහළ මට්ටම ශක්තිමත් කළොත් තමයි ඒ සමාජයේ
Only if we are strengthened, the society at its grassroots level will become a sustainable one. The ones at the top levels cannot exist if the grassroots levels are not strengthened. Our aim is to strengthen the grassroots levels.
මිනිස්සු ඇති හැකි කිරීම, දිලුඳුකම පිටු දැකීම. මම හිතනවා මේ වචන තුල එතුමාගේ දැක්ම මේ කැටිකොට දැක්වෙනවා.
This is what we should take forward. So it is a blessing for all Sri Lankans that Minister Sajid Premadasa has received a ministry that can work towards making that vision a reality.
A protest was held demanding the resignation of the Chief Minister of the North-Western Province, Dayasiri Jayasekara, prior to the first sitting of the Council today. Meanwhile, another group staged a demonstration in support of Dayasiri Jayasekara at the same location. A tense situation arose between the two groups of demonstrators.
A demonstration was held opposite the North-Western Provincial Council demanding that Chief Minister Dayasiri Jayasekara step down from his post. The demonstration was organised by a group including the leader of the opposition of the Provincial Council, J.C. Alawatuwala. They also demanded that the Chief Minister not be included in the new government. The group of demonstrators first carried out their protest opposite the Kurunegala District Secretariat. Later, another group held a procession in support of Chief Minister Dayasiri Jayasekara. A tense situation arose when the two groups met. Our correspondent noted that the situation was brought under control with the intervention of the police.
Now let me tell you a story about what's happening elsewhere in the country. Another leg of the Samadhi Sisilasa program was held under the auspices of UNP parliamentarian Buddhika Patirana in Mathura today.
An event was held this morning under the Samadhi Sisilasa 100 program to distribute water filters at the Valgama railway station in Mathura.
අපිට පුළුවන් වෙලා තියෙනවා
With a new government in power, we are able to do what we did best while we sat in the opposition. We are now able to take forth 16 large-scale projects to the general public living in 1,658 villages in 650 Grama Niladhari divisions in the Mathura district.
The Times of India reports that with a new government taking office in the island, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi may travel to Colombo in March. Indian media reported today that speaking to journalists after his first visit in his new capacity as Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister, Mangala Samaravira said that, quote, the new government wanted to demonstrate the importance of restoring friendly ties with our neighbour, unquote. You're with News First. Up next is a look at Action TV.
The Secretary to the Western Province Ministry of Education addressed this letter dated the 11th of December last year to the principal of the Vidyakara Balika Vidyalaya in Maharagama, who he himself had appointed to that position 3 months ago. The letter comes in the wake of several criticisms raised by opposition and government councillors at the Western Provincial Council against the appointment made by the Secretary. The criticisms raised by the Western Provincial Councillors is reasonable when taking into consideration the points given to eligible candidates to be interviewed for the post of principal at the Vidyakara Vidyalaya by a 3-member committee headed by the Secretary himself. When considering the eligibility criteria for the position of principal of Vidyakara Vidyalaya, it is evident that calling the officer in question for an interview was in itself an arbitrary action. However, the officer in question, who is a grade 2.2 officer of the Sri Lanka Principal Service, has been granted the position, scoring the highest points at the interview, in spite of the fact that in order to be eligible for the position, she would have to be a grade 1 officer of the Sri Lanka Principal Service or a grade 3 officer of the Sri Lanka Education Administrative Service. She was given the position in spite of the fact that 4 candidates fulfilled the eligibility criteria and in spite of the fact that 1 candidate was more than qualified to hold the position. It is the Secretary himself who has awarded an abnormal amount of points to the principal in question. At present, the principal has returned the favour granted to her by the Provincial Education Secretary. Instead of accepting the transfer letter issued on the 11th of December and reporting to the Zonal Education Office after handing over official documents and equipment, she has locked the principal's office at the school and has not reported to work since. She signed the pay sheets for the month of December for the teachers at the school at a garage in Pannipitia, and that too after postponing it for 3 days. Isn't this more than enough proof to question whether the official in question is suitable to hold the position of principal at any school? Shouldn't steps be taken to determine the criteria used by the interview board for the position of principal for this school and then educate them on how due consideration should be given to qualified individuals? Chief Minister of the Western Province, this is over to you.
Chasing 277 for victory, New Zealand won the 4th ODI against Sri Lanka at Nelson in New Zealand by 4 wickets with 11 balls remaining.
So Tim Southey
winning the toss and electing to bat first, Sri Lanka were dealt an early blow when Dimuth Karunaratne was dismissed for 5 runs with the total at 11. Senior batsmen Tilakaratne Dilshan, Kumar Sangakkara and Mahalaja Wardana scored 44, 76 and 94 respectively, ensuring the visitors got themselves to a fighting total. Sangakkara, who needed 17 runs to surpass Sana Jayasuriya's total tally of 13,430 ODI runs and become the highest run scorer for Sri Lanka, achieved the feat and moved up the table to the 3rd highest run scorer in ODI history. Sachin Tendulkar and Ricky Ponting occupy the 1st and 2nd positions. Jayawardene was deprived of his 19th ODI century today when he was dismissed for 94. Sri Lanka was eventually bowled out for 276 runs or 49.3 overs. New Zealand too got off to a shaky start, losing both openers cheaply, but a 103-run century from Kane Williamson steadied the innings and set them on the path to victory. Grant Elliott and Corey Anderson scored 44 and 47 respectively, while Luke Ronchi with 32 and Daniel Vittori with 7 saw New Zealand over the line with 11 balls to spare.
In more cricket news, it was a bad day for South Asian teams in the Pacific as India too were bowled over by what appeared to be a rejuvenated English outfit in match 3 of the Tri-Series, also featuring hosts Australia. India, batting first at the Gabba in Brisbane, were bowled out for a paltry 153 runs as they struggled to deal with the English seamers.
Oh, that's the shot now. That is the first genuinely...
Stephen Finn announced his comeback to top-flight cricket with a maiden 5-4 that ripped apart India's batting order after they had recovered from a shaky start. Finn's charge turned 1 for 57 into 5 for 67 and 5 for 137 into 153, their lowest all-out score against England. Stuart Binnie top-scored for India with 44. Ajinkya Rahane, Ambati Rayudu and Suresh Raina made it to double figures but did not score enough to save a lackluster batting performance.
That's clean. Plays T20 cricket. That's a heck of a good shot. Moeen Ali's...
England lost opener Moeen Ali early for only 8 runs. However, Ian Bell with 88 and James Taylor with 56 runs guided the English to a 9-wicket victory in 27.3 overs, claiming the crucial bonus point and a big net run rate boost. Australia are still on top of the table with 9 points, with England on 5 and India on 0.
As well, are these the winning runs? 22.5 overs left. That's 135 balls left.
And with that, we wrap up this edition of Primetime News. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Ashani De Silva.
And I'm Shamir Suldin. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place. Till then, take care and good night.